Hello students, I am your Tanmay sir. Today in this video we are going to discuss about the French Revolution. As you all have seen the previous video where we have discussed about the French Revolution in complete Bengali. Today in this video we will discuss about French Revolution in complete English language. This will help all the students who are in English medium and want to have a video in English language. So before I start discussing French Revolution, as usual I am again requesting all of you, please subscribe our channel. This will help us to reach more students, and if you like the videos in my channel, please share the videos with all your friends so that they can also take advantage of these videos and learn something out of these videos. So let's start today's discussion. This is the first time you are going to read the European history. Previously you have read the Indian history. Now this is the first time that you are studying European history. So first of all I would like to share that French Revolution is a new topic for all of you, but this is not at all tough. We will discuss every information related to French Revolution, and I am pretty sure that this discussion will help you immensely. So let's start by discussing what is revolution. Whenever people are not satisfied with their ruler, then they resort to violent means of overthrowing the king, which is called the revolution. Again I am repeating for your benefit, whenever people are not satisfied with their ruler, they resort to violent means to overthrow the king, which is called the revolution. At that time there were 43 countries in Europe, and French society was divided into three parts. The first part, or the first class, or you can say the first estate also, was the people of Catholic Church. They were called the clergy. The name was clergy. This first class or first estate people are the privileged class of people. Privileged class of people. They enjoyed all the privileges given by the king. Then there was second class or estate. This second class or estate people were also privileged class. They also enjoyed all the privileges. About 2% of people belonged to this class, and the property they had was almost 20% of the total property. And the third class or the third estate is the poor, the merchants, the servants, and all the middle class. 80% people are from the third estate. They also include farmers. These are the three divisions of society. During the reign of Louis XVI, King Louis XVI, France went bankrupt. Now he tried to investigate about the reasons of this bankruptcy. The first reason was money spent on various palaces of the king was huge. Money spent on various palaces of the king was huge. Second reason was Queen Mary spent lot of money. Third is government, the French government helped 13 American colonies for their independence. After that, fourth reason was the government spent more than it received in taxes. And the last reason was the privileged class, the first estate and the second estate did not pay any taxes. Now let us look at the causes of French Revolution. There were three causes for this French Revolution. Number one is political. When Louis XVI became king, he saw that the treasury was empty. The government held 13 American colonies to get independence, and all the money was gone there. There was also a huge cost to maintain the palaces, and there was 10% interest on borrowed money. When there was no money, the king borrowed some money from different sources, and the interest was 10%. There were government salaries, salaries of the soldiers, salaries of the court employees. As a result, the king kept increasing taxes on the common people, and their lives became miserable. Second is the social cause. The first two estates, the clergy and the nobility, the second class was named nobility, the first class clergy. So this clergy and nobility class did not pay taxes to the government. The landlords did not have to pay their rent. The third class, the middle class and the farmers, had to pay the church tax, which is termed as tithes. The tithes tax was 1/10 of the total income or the total production. Also, there was government tax, which is named as taillis, and government used to take taxes as 1/3 of the total income or production. In addition, there were many taxes for the common people. The third reason was economic reason. The population increased from 23 million to 28 million between 1715 and 1789. As a result, the demand for foods increased, but the production was not sufficient. So as a result, the price of the food increased heavily, but the government did not increase the salaries of employees. As a result, the problem of middle class increased. The difference in wealth between the poor and the rich also increased. So these were the three reasons, primary reasons for this revolution. There were some other reasons as well. The first one is the king's will is the last word. Whatever the kings decide is the last word. Corruption of the parliamentarians is the second one. Third is unfair land distribution. Fourth reason was unfair taxation. Next reason was the first two estates did not have to pay any taxes. The sixth one is the emergence of awareness among common people. The next reason was the government began to run by borrowing from different sources. Eighth reason is the yield of land decreased. The agricultural production decreased. Ninth reason was inflation appeared. Then the king obstructed the reform process. Next one was the king was in danger due to demands of constitution and parliament. So these are the reasons for French Revolution. There were three primary reasons, and these are some additional reasons. So due to all these reasons, French Revolution happened and the Bastille fort was destroyed. Now everything has a good side and a bad side. Let's look at the good side. The first of good effects are the first written constitution came to existence in France. Second is the rights of the people and the citizens were protected. The third good effect was the king was abolished. Number 4, the landlords were also abolished. The next good effect was the estates, the first estate, the second estate, the third estates were also abolished. Sixth good effect was schools were opened. Seventh one was Protestants were also given equal rights, and the last good effect was Jews were also given equal rights. Now let us look at the bad effects. Bad effects were women's rights were stopped. Slavery was stopped by Robespierre but again reintroduced by Napoleon. Third bad effect was Napoleon secretly established a police force and they used to kill the enemies, the oppositions. Number 4, Napoleon stopped the press from writing about anything which is against him. Napoleon ordered the police to beat the arrested people of the opposition and to extract confession. And the sixth point is Napoleon's opponents were imprisoned without trial. Now let us look at the French Revolution, how it happened. The representatives of the French Revolution gathered on a tennis court and swore an oath to overthrow the king and create a constitution. A pledge was taken and this is termed as tennis court. On June 20, 1789, 576 members of the Third Estate moved their meeting to a tennis court in St. Louis, Versailles, where they signed an oath that they would not adjourn until they had rewritten a new constitution for the France. Reasons. Now let us look at the reasons for the spread of the French Revolution, how it spread so fast. Number 1, King Louis XVI increased taxes. That's the first reason. Second is previous kings had to consult the estate generals to increase taxes. The estate generals are a political body made up of representatives from 3 estates. On May 5th, 1789, Louis XVI called the estate generals to a meeting. The first and second estates each sent 300 representatives, but the third estate sent 600 representatives. Previously, each estate could cast one vote, but now the third estate said that all representatives should have one vote. The third estate demanded that all representatives should have one vote. Now let us look at the spread of great fear. While the National Assembly was drafting a new constitution, the rest of France was in turmoil. There was a very bad harvest season. Food prices were increasing. Food supplies were becoming increasingly scarce due to the surrounding unrest. There was unrest in every area of France. Women were looting shops to buy food for the family. The mob finally destroyed the Bastille through French Revolution. Then the king was in danger. When these things were happening, the king was in danger. King Louis XVI agreed to abide by the National Assembly. On July 14, 1789, National Assembly passed a law abolishing the feudal system and the unjust tax system. Now let us look at the features of the Constitution. The Declaration of Rights of Man and Citizen was written at the beginning. The word man was written in this Constitution because there were some people from outside of France. They were also residing in France. So to take them within Constitution, the man word was included in Constitution. The features of the Constitution. Number 1, the king had little power. Second is the legislature, executive and judiciary were separated. Third one is only the rich people got the right to vote. All men over age of 21 were given the right to vote. Fourth one is indirect election, that is election without the women. And the last one is no right to passive citizen. So women were not allowed to have any rights. In France, the National Assembly abolished the king's rule in April 1792 and became a democratic republic and declared war on Prussia and Austria on 21st September 1792. Now we will look at Reign of Terror. After abolishing the king, everyone was thinking who would run the country, who would run France. At that time there was a group of people who followed a very disciplined approach and they also wore a special dress. They were members of the Jacobean Club. It was led by Maximilien Robespierre. Everyone decided that Maximilien Robespierre should be given the responsibility of running the country. The reign of Maximilien Robespierre was called Reign of Terror, that is 1793 to 1794. Maximilien Robespierre introduced a very strict regime. He continued to punish everyone for minor offences. For small offences, the punishment was very hard. He started a maximum ceiling on wages and prices. He also introduced meat and bread rationing. Everyone had equal rights to speak, and the bad thing that he introduced was guillotine. 1793 to 1794 was a terrible time. 3 lakh people were arrested and 17,000 were guillotined and 10,000 people died in prison without trial. Many people of France did not like this. At the end of the regime, directory rule was introduced in France. After the removal of Maximilien Robespierre, the middle class became very strong. According to the new constitution, the directory was created with 5 members. But there were always legislative problems with the directors. There was always some legislative problems with the directors. Finally, the directors were also removed. Let us look at the reasons of directors failing. The directors failed because they could not stop the internal civil war, did not prevent famine, and fought with neighboring countries. For peace, the directors introduced military rule throughout the country. throughout France there was military rule, and they also stopped the elections. They failed to turn around the economy between 1795 to 1799 and instead relied on the army and continued as directors. So after the removal of the directory period, military rule began in France under Napoleon Bonaparte. He was a soldier of the Third Estate. He was the leader of the Council of the People, those belong to Third Estate, created by Louis XVI. He took charge of the country and introduced no tax, equal price, no privilege for any class for the people of the Third Estate. Now we will discuss something more about Napoleon, but before that let us discuss some other things. First one, did women have a revolution? Although women were passive citizens in the new constitution, they started political parties and newspapers. In the meantime, the Society of Revolutionary and Republican women became very popular. Their demands were equal rights to women, right to vote, the right to attend the assembly, and the right to hold government positions. The government at that time brought many laws for the development of women. It was made compulsory for the girls to go to school. Parents could not marry their daughters against their will. Marriage and divorce should be registered. Women could have jobs, businesses, and industries. The next thing we will discuss is slavery bill. The triangular trade between Europe, America, and Africa brought slaves. Slavery began in the 1700s. The merchants brought slaves from Africa to work on sugar, coffee, and indigo plantations in Europe. Slavery system was abolished by Maximilian Robespierre in 1794. The Naples Slavery Act was passed in 1848, abolishing the slavery for the second time, because after slavery was abolished in 1794, Napoleon again reintroduced slavery. So there was a Slavery Act passed on 1848. Now let us look at main objectives of revolutionary people. For freedom and support of everyone. In the summer of 1789 or after the revolution, the law of freedom of the press was passed. Before, however, the king stopped newspapers, books, and theatres from sharing or showing any information, any negative information about the king. So in the summer of 1789, the law of freedom of press was passed. Now let us discuss about Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon was a soldier. In 1804, he declared himself king and conquered neighboring countries. Napoleon wanted to establish himself as a leader of Europe. He introduced the Bill of Rights, the law of first instance of things, and introduced the decimal system. The idea of freedom and democratic rights was the main identity of French Revolution. When Napoleon declared himself king in 1804, he declared a code or rule. It is called the Napoleonic Code. Under this code, French law was doing very well, very smooth. But the king's opposition to the struggle and the advice of everyone led him to make the monarchy hereditary to stop the opposition. Napoleon's achievements. Napoleon reformed many old systems. Number one is central government system was introduced by Napoleon. Second is a higher education system was also introduced. The central bank was established in France during his tenure. Code of laws, the Napoleonic Code, was introduced, and the roads and sewerage was also improved. Napoleon was finally defeated at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815 and executed. Result or consequences of the revolution. 3 State Generals met after 150 years. As a result, the National Assembly was formed. The Assembly declared the rights of man and the citizen. The king was replaced by French Republic. National Convention. National Convention was established in place of National Assembly. The French Revolution alarmed the surrounding countries and led to wars between France and Prussia, Austria and Britain. Louis XVI and his wife were executed. So in short, it all said, if we summarize the whole thing till now, Louis XVI came to power, the treasury was empty. To free 13 colonies of America, the people revolted because they could not keep the people well. He only collected tax from the third estate. First two were privileged classes or privileged estates. As a result, there was a revolt. The king was removed. Then constitutional monarchism or rule according to the constitution came to existence. Then that too was stopped. The republic was established. It was run by Maximilien Robespierre of the Jacobean Club. During his reign of terror, only murder was done. Then directory rule, that also did not work because of the conflict with the legislature. After that, the military rule came to existence. Its leader was Napoleon. Since he was a common man of the third estate, he made many reforms in the society, but he started wars and started conquering the surrounding countries. He died fighting in 1815. So this is all about French Revolution. I hope you have learned quite a few things from our discussion today. So if you like our discussion, then please like the video and share it with your friends so that they can also go through this video and learn something about the French Revolution. And please subscribe the video. This will help us to reach more students, and secondly to make more important videos which will help in your studies. So please like, share and subscribe. So thank you for today. We will make many more videos which will help you in future. So thank you.